What exactly unfolded on the third day of the U.S. Israel conflict ongoing from Iran? How exactly did Iran launch its counterattack in the strikes it carried out on those American military bases situated in the Middle East? How many U.S. soldiers have ultimately lost their lives so far? Officially, the initial figure was reported as 3 soldiers, but it is being claimed that this number could potentially increase further because many of the injured are very severely wounded. We will also discuss what this number is. We will also talk about the strategy Iran is using for its aggressive attacks after Khamenei's death and what its strategy might be in the future, specifically on the 4th and 5th days. Furthermore, we will discuss what Israel and America's strategy will be now that they have achieved one of their goals, which is killing Khamenei and have bombed over 1,000 targets in Iran. What all he is planning to do now, we will find out everything. We have Abhay with us. Abhay, first, could you please tell us what broadly transpired on the 3rd day?
Look, on the 3rd day, many more significant things happened here. Firstly, regarding the numbers, more than 500 people have died in Iran. And as for soldiers, 18 American troops are seriously wounded. This means the current count could increase even further. Today, the U.S. Secretary of Defense stated that Pat Hedges held a press conference. And in it, he said that this is a war and the number of lives lost here, that figure can increase. So this implies that very few lives will be lost among the US and their troops or soldiers. This is all the news. It's very little for us, so this news can now grow. Secondly, what happened today with Saudi Arabia or the Gulf nations? We witnessed their oil empire, that very oil empire, being completely consumed and destroyed. We saw the strike on Saudi Aramco, and Saudi Aramco is certainly not a small company. Of all the global crude oil that is extracted, this company produces a very substantial percentage. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince MBS. For them, this is a very big challenge in a way, because we all know Iran and Saudi Arabia, the Middle East or West Asia has 2 rivals. Both are competitors, so Iran has now directly targeted US military and naval bases, a tactic they've used before and repeated today. In this region, if I were to inform you, at the US Navy 5th Fleet Headquarters, which was situated in Bahrain, we observed and heard massive explosions of a certain kind. People there captured those incidents on video. The radar systems in that area, whether they belonged to Qatar or Bahrain, were effectively dealt with by Iran. On another note, and what I consider to be most significant, Vibe Half was our discussion about crashes, specifically jet crashes. You know, there was a time when India's jets crashed so many times. Pakistan's jets crashed so many times. Trump used to say this. Their numbers used to be counted. Today, however, it's the jets that are being counted. But since these are American jets, we're talking about 2 American jets. What they've stated is that quite simply, numerous jets have indeed crashed. However, the very first figure suggests that only 1 or 2 jets were brought down, either by Iranian drones or as a result of friendly fire. This particular information has not been officially confirmed yet. Following this, the news of Khamenei's wife's passing has come to light here. And you see, she was critically wounded in those very first initial attacks, and now today, the final confirmation of her death has been received. There are indeed many other news reports as well. However, these were the most significant headlines, and particularly the most crucial development among all of these is the jet crash. Iran has, in a way, directly challenged the oil empire's dominance, and the US's allies, its partner nations in the Middle East region, are now questioning whether the US and Israel can truly provide them the security they need against Iran. And so they're asking,
Broadly speaking, the 3rd day somewhat leaned towards Iran, or Iran clearly had the upper hand. We can say this because, as you mentioned, American fighter jets crashed. In addition to this, Saki, the deaths of 3 to 4 American soldiers have already been confirmed. It is also being reported that more casualties could potentially occur. And just as the attack on Aramco occurred and other US allied nations are being targeted by Iran, all of this clearly indicates that Iran is certainly not in a mood to yield.
And the naval conflict, in a way, has become like the Strait of Hormuz. Or perhaps the naval war is escalating. Because today, the US has also made this claim. The US has also stated that they have targeted many of Iran's ships, including both warships and regular vessels. They are now, in a way, establishing a blockade there as well. And Iran also claimed that to implement the blockade they had declared near Oman or the Strait of Hormuz, they attacked ships. So these are not just minor news stories. because the Strait of Hormuz, from where all naval transportation takes place, as we know, cargo is transported in two primary ways. If goods from India need to reach Europe, they can either go by air or they can travel via the naval route. The naval route is significantly more cost effective. Absolutely. So in a way, the Strait of Hormuz serves as a critical link. If Iran continues to maintain this naval blockade in that area, then this conflict will not be confined solely to that particular region, nor will it be limited to just 2 or 3 nations, or even a handful of countries. Instead, the entire global community, the prices across the world, whether we're talking about crude oil or any other common essential commodity, will experience the full and complete impact on their respective costs. Most importantly, there have been more than 2,000 US and Iran strikes. US and Israeli strikes have already taken place in Iran. Following these events, Iran has now started deploying its secret missiles, which it had previously kept undisclosed and unused. Today, there were also reports circulating that Prime Minister Netanyahu's office itself had been targeted. However, we want to assure you that there is no threat whatsoever to Prime Minister Netanyahu's life. A statement of this kind has now been issued by Israel. The IRGC, the Iranian military forces, had claimed that they had targeted Netanyahu. They also stated that this news is not true. However, a target was indeed hit. We also witnessed that Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, meaning Israel itself.
Cities. The Iron Dome is often mentioned. Iron Beam is also now available.
And now it has also come to this point that despite the presence of so many air defenses, Iran's missiles, its rockets, and its drones are managing to penetrate all those air defenses and are launching attacks on Israel's cities and are even proving to be successful, something that could not have been witnessed in the past. In one way, it used to be that missiles would come from there. A whole barrage of missiles and drones would arrive, but the air defense systems would intercept them. However, this war is different because it is a battle for existence, for survival itself. And because of this, the Islamic regime, the IRGC, and all those who remain, Khamenei's commanders, have now entered a do-or-die situation.
Right. And on the third day, so all the discussions and updates we've already shared with you. What happens on the 4th day of the war? You'll keep getting updates on that too. For this, you'll need to keep watching One India. That's all for now. My name is Vaibhav. Abhay was with me. Keep watching One India.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app.